Are you looking for a small urban crossover? Good news, there are still some out there. Bad news, they are no longer cheap. This is the refreshed Volkswagen T-Cross. What's changed beside the price? Let's find out.
What is the T-Cross? It is the smallest crossover in the Volkswagen range and one of the smaller crossovers on the market. Based on the Polo, the T-Cross falls in size between the Jeep Avenger and the Kia Stonic or Toyota Yaris Cross. It comes only in front-wheel drive, and the engine range is either 1.0 TSI with 95 or 115 horsepower, or a 1.5 TSI with 150 horsepower. The least powerful engine has a 5-speed manual transmission. The 115 horsepower engine has a 6-speed manual transmission as standard, but a 7-speed DSG is optional. And the 1.5-liter motor gets a double clutch shifter as standard.
Volkswagen calls this facelift a major update. The first change is the new paint colors, and indeed, the grape yellow is hard to miss.
The next change are the headlights and the taillights with LED technology. The chrome strip between the headlights has been replaced by an illuminated strip, and the daytime running lights are now vertical instead of square. I have the impression that before the facelift the rear lamps were not connected by an illuminated strip, and now they are. Another change is that the tow hitch vertical weight limit has been increased from 55 to 75 kilograms. This is something I won't be able to demonstrate as this unit was not equipped with a hitch, but generally it means more bikes or heavier bikes, towing up to 1200 kilograms depending on the engine version.
In the boot I noticed two changes which Volkswagen doesn't talk about actually. First, the gas struts for the tailgate are now more powerful than I remember from the pre-facelift model. Back in 2020 it took some force to lift the tailgate, and now it goes up almost by itself.
Secondly, the optional Beats audio system subwoofer is now inside the Space Saver tire, and therefore it no longer prevents you from dropping the double floor. And if you keep the floor in its upper position, you can store the parcel shelf underneath it, which is useful when transporting larger items and folding the rear seats.
Speaking of larger items, not only the second row backrest fold down, but also the front passenger backrest folds, and you can transport items up to 240 centimeters long. Now, the standard boot capacity is 385 liters, but if you slide the rear seats 14 centimeters forwards, it increases to 455 liters, although the legroom for passengers is limited.
Doors do not cover the sills, unfortunately. However, with the rear seat in its normal position, there is good legroom for me. I'm 175 centimeters tall and the driver's seat is set to my driving position. Also, because of how boxy the car is, headroom is quite generous. In the back we get decent-sized door pockets, 2 USB-C ports, but there are no air vents or an armrest.
In the front we have a digital instrument cluster, which is now standard, and the refreshed infotainment system. The virtual dials display information from the new, now mandatory safety systems, and the infotainment system now includes controls for these new features. On the plus side, if you don't go for the top-of-the-line Discover Pro infotainment like the one here, you will still get physical volume and tuning knobs. Also, wireless Android Auto is standard, and finally there is no USB dongle to get the internet because the infotainment system is now online out of the factory. And this is where the positives end, because the rest is only bad and worse. Unfortunately, adding new features on top of an old system usually ends in tears, and this is no exception. To get to Android Auto Map, which is probably why you want to use it in the first place, you need to click on the screen pretty much twice wherever you are. Disabling the mandatory Intelligent Speed Assistant requires 5 clicks. And the software is laggy, so I often find myself clicking the wrong button because I thought I was already a step or two ahead inside the menu. Lower down we have the climate control panel, which is now touch sensitive as well. And can somebody explain to me what was wrong with knobs to set the temperature?
I appreciate that they kept the physical light switch, physical buttons on the steering wheel, and physical buttons for the stop and start system, parking sensors, hazard lights, and drive modes. Below the AC panel are 2 USB-C ports, which replaced the older USB-A ones. There is a wireless charger now, tight cup holders, and small storage compartment under the armrest, but at least the armrest is adjustable in 2 directions. The glove box could have been larger, but there are remnants from the days of optional CD changers in some models from a few generations ago. And what happened to those customizable dashboard trim bits? Nobody wanted to pay for a bit of fun? Well, at least the door pockets are spacious.
Another new feature on the refreshed T-Cross is the optional travel assist. It's a combination of adaptive cruise control and lane keeping assist. The system also slows down before tighter turns and maybe crossings if the speed on the adaptive cruise control is set too high. I often use travel assist in dense traffic because it's convenient. However, the system is not as advanced as in larger and newer models from Volkswagen and its competitors. For example, while the system sort of kind of works in traffic, it only stops the car for a few seconds, after which it beeps and then goes into standby, so you have to take control of the brake and the accelerator.
The LED headlights are just for energy efficiency, but they aren't particularly powerful. But then the T-Cross is a city car. This is the 115 horsepower DSG 1-liter TSI version. It should do 0 to 100 km per hour in 10.3 seconds. I got 10.4 seconds. This car should also use less than 6 liters per 100 km combined. I'm looking at around 7 liters here.
The engine still lacks oomph, especially when you want to merge into traffic faster, and the DSG is programmed for low emissions, and that doesn't help. Soundproofing is average, visibility is average, suspension is average, and the T-Cross still understeers at speeds for which it wasn't designed, so you probably won't find out. Other than that, the T-Cross is a compact, maneuverable car suitable for the city, although Volkswagen should have given us an EV in this segment a long time ago.
We're driving cars on a Mars tonight.
Prices of the refreshed VW T-Cross start at €23,855 for the base spec 95 horsepower manual model. That's $5,000 more than when the original model debuted in 2019. If you go for the 115 horsepower model, that bumps up the price to €27,635, and adding DSG costs another $2,000. The 150 horsepower model starts at €31,855. This test example in style trim with 115 horsepower motor and DSG with options costs a whopping €37,225. That's over €4,000 more than the very well spec'd 1.5 TSI press car I reviewed back in 2020.
Prices like these are ridiculous, and I don't know who will pay so much money for a small city car, especially since the facelifted T-Cross is not necessarily a lot better. Frankly, I think some of the new regulations and some of the cost-saving measures only made this car less appealing. But what do you think? Let me know in the comment section below.
If you like my sarcastic, down-to-earth and possibly mildly amusing car reviews, join me every Friday at 3 p.m. Central European Time, and don't forget to subscribe and like this video as it helps me with the YouTube algorithm. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one.